Hey neighbor, Alicia Dolan here at Creating in My Corner. I'm so glad you could join me tonight for another Stampin' Sunday video. Uh, I'm a couple minutes late because I was having really hard time deciding what we were going to do tonight. But I think I have chosen the stamp set. I like this framed florets stamp set. Excuse me. And so I think we will work with this tonight and see what we can come up with. I still have a little bit of a cough, a little tickle in my throat. So I have some water here and hopefully that will help everything go really smooth. So if you need to take a break and get a little something to drink or get a snack so that you are happier while you're stamping, go ahead and do that. I'm going to turn the camera around. For anyone who doesn't know, celebration ended. So there are some things that are not available anymore. And that's why I was having a hard time deciding what we're going to do tonight. I'm going to turn the camera around and we'll get started creating. So hold on one second. Okay, so here we are over in our stamping space, and we are going to make a card tonight with the framed florets stamp set. And there is a die set that goes with this. Framed florets, I think it's called exactly the same thing, framed florets. So we're going to work with this tonight and see what we can come up with. Let's see. I'm just getting all my my things in order here. When I use photopolymer stamps with my Stamparatus, I like to make sure that this foam mat is in there. And then I always put one piece of grid paper on the top. That's how I like to start with that. Okay, and if you watched last week's video, you'll know that I did a challenge. And Tina participated in that challenge, and she is the winner of the prize. I have not mailed that out yet, Tina, but I am going to get to it very soon. Okay, so I think this set will be really nice for spring. And I was thinking maybe we would do some spring birthday cards with this. So let's see, let's decide on some nice spring colors first. I've got some celebration paper here that I know is not current anymore. But I also have some other papers. So I'm just going to look through and see what you can see. I think that, let's see. This paper here is called Country Floral Lane, and it definitely has a Valentine lean to it. It's all hearts and springy sorts of papers, but let's see what else there is in there. I really love these bicycles, but I also really like the back side of this, which is a balmy blue with some stripes. So let's see if we can't, I think that'll go nicely with some flowers. Let's see. I love the bicycles. The bicycles are my favorite. So maybe I don't want to use those bicycles. But I think it'll be, no, you know what? I don't want to use them. I'm going to save those. I'm going to save those bicycles. So hold on. Let's get a different pack of paper. This is another one that I really love that has a lot of good nature prints in it. And this is called Happy Forest Friends. So we are going to use this one. And okay. And on the back side of these little trees are these little vines. Let's see, do we want little tree? I think this might be really nice as a background. Okay, so let's do that. Okay. I'm gonna get a piece of Sahara sand for my base. And I've got some right over here because I used it, let's see, not too long ago. It might even have been last week. I'm not sure. Okay, let's use the Sahara sand. And I think that today we'll make a gatefold card. It's been a while since we made a gatefold. All right, so what we're gonna do is cut our cardstock at 5.5 so that we end up with a piece that's 5.5 by 8.5. Just like that. And then we are going to score it at 2 1/8 inches from each end. So here like this, and then we're going to turn it around and put it at 2 1/8 again. Okay, and then what we end up with when we fold those pieces up is a card that meets in the middle. And this is called a gatefold card. So you can use this this sort of pattern anytime. All right, and then what we're going to do is cut our paper at 5 1/4. And then we need 2 pieces that are 1 7/8. So there's 1, 2, and then we want 1 piece of the other side that is 4 by 5 1/4. And this one we are going to put on the inside. And then these will go here on either side like this. And then actually I am gonna I'm gonna switch stamp sets, you guys. Okay, so I was gonna do the frame florets, but now that I have my front, I want to switch. So we're gonna use we are going to use, let's see. All right, I'm a little undecided. All right, I think we're going to use these Happy Hedgehogs. I was just trying to look and see if they are still, if they're still available. I wasn't sure. Hold on one second and I can tell you. Yep, they are. Okay, so we can use them and they're going to be, it's going to be so cute. Okay, so I need a couple pieces of basic white and I put them all away, evidently, which is a bit unlike me. Okay, so I'm going to need one that I can punch out. Okay, and there is a hedgehog punch. Okay, so you can, let's see. You can actually buy the punch and the stamp set and have both. All right, so what are we going to do? We are going to stamp and punch out a hedgehog first. And this is a photopolymer set too. So our stamper edis is still set up just the right way. And this is our hedgehog. Okay, we're going to stamp. All right, I need to know where my paper is going to go, you guys, before I do this. Okay, so we're going to put our paper right here in the corner. And our first little hedgehog is going to go right here. All right, and we are going to make him early espresso. All right, so here is my early espresso ink. Okay, and sometimes I have a little trouble opening my inks. I just want to show you a quick tip about that might help you. So these are ink pads and they have this handy dandy little thumb hole here. And sometimes if you go to pull that straight up, it'll give you a little trouble. But if you take your other finger and kind of push back here at the same time, usually it will release that a little bit and it'll be easier to open. So if you're having trouble opening your Stampin' Up! Ink pad, try that little trick and see if it doesn't help. Okay, now what we are going to do, we're going to put the case from our Happy Hedgehogs underneath our Stamparatus plate. I know you can't quite see that because it's a little bit off the screen over there. But what all that does is helps my plate to be level with my table instead of leaning down, so that I can apply my ink a little more evenly to my stamp. And remember, you're going to just tap lightly with your ink. And we are going to practice stamp. So we're going to mark the spot where our piece of white paper is going to go. Move it to the side. And we're going to stamp that hedgehog down once, just for good measure. And it looks like we're getting a nice clean image. So then all we have to do is place our paper back in its spot, ink up our stamp one more time, lots of little taps. And then we have a super cute little hedgehog. Okay, and this one we are going to punch out. So when you're punching out your images, you always want to turn your punch upside down so that you can see. I should have measured it on my paper first. As you can see, it's not in the right spot. So what I'm going to need to do is trim off the right edge of this piece of basic white. All right, now I should have measured that first, but I did not. Now we can line that up and see exactly where we're punching it out. Just like that. Okay. So there is our little hedgehog, our first little hedgehog, I should say, because we are going to make more than one. Okay, and let's see, so you can see kind of what I'm thinking. I want there to be one hedgehog on the front, and then I'm going to put two on the inside. And the reason I'm thinking that is on the Happy Hedgehogs stamp set is this little sentiment right here that says finding a friend is the best discovery of all. So that's where I'm going with that. So for the inside of our card, we are going to want a piece that is let's do 3.5 by 4 3/4. All right. And that's going to go on the inside of our card. Okay. So now, all right, that's my piece for the outside. So now I'm going to do some more stamping. And I haven't moved my hedgehog stamp. So since I've left it on my plate, I can line this up where I want my hedgehog to be, which I don't know where I want it to be. Let's see. Maybe right about here. I think, let's see. Since we're going to put two out, let's just grab our second one. Oh, I'm sorry about that. And see how they're going to fit together. So I want to have two of them standing fairly close to one another. Or maybe I don't. Maybe they should both be on the outside. Oh, I'm struggling. All right. Let's see. What do you think? I think I'm going to put them both on the outside, and then I'll put the sentiment on the inside. But how's that going to work? Okay, I think I need to glue my pieces on the front before I keep going on, because I can't decide. I'm sure I am not the only one who has a little trouble sometimes deciding how to arrange things. All right, so we're going to put some liquid glue on here, just like this. A little around the edge and a squiggle down the middle. We always want to make sure we leave a little spot for our finger so we can pick up our piece without getting all sticky. We can line that up right in the middle. And because we're using our liquid glue, we can wiggle it just a little if we need it to move. There we go. Okay, now on the outsides are going to go our other pieces. Sorry, guys. I feel like it's been forever since I was sick, and still I have like a little, it's really only been 2 weeks, and I know that's not forever. So it just feels like a little lingering cough to me. All right, there's our squiggle. Oh, I already made a squiggle on that one. Okay, so we're going to put one of these on each side. So we've got one for this side. Okay. And one for this side. All right, we gotta wiggle that one a little. I did not put that in the middle on the first try. Okay. So there's that. And then here's our little hedgehog who can go over here. I think what we'll do is make a large shape for the front, and then our hedgehogs can sit on that. All right, so we need another piece of white. And let's see, a circle maybe for our little hedgehogs. Okay, let's use our layering circle dies. If you don't have layering circle dies, you can, of course, punch or just cut a circle using whatever means necessary. Okay, let's see if our little hedgehogs are gonna fit. I think the one is gonna fit. But I'm not sure yet how we're going to work out the other. We will see in just a moment. Let's see. All right, I'm going to cut this big circle, and we're going to have a look and see where we're at. Okay, and in case you didn't know, circle dies like this. Um, we sell these, there's lots of them. They can be used with the Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine, or the mini Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine, or if you have a die cutting machine, that's another brand, you can use it. You can use them with that as well. Okay, so here's our little hedgehog, one of them. Let's see, and I think let's use the little bird with the hedgehog instead of a second hedgehog. Let's do that because I think that's going to fit better on our circle. And it's totally okay to have friends who are a little different from us, right? So it'll be really cute. Let's do that. Okay, so I need to clean off my hedgehog. And put that away. And we need to get out our little bird. So here is the little bird. So we've got our hedgehog. And we kind of want to line it up just so we know where we're going to put everything. And then here is the little bird. See, and I don't think we're going to cut him out, but I think what I would like him to do is kind of be down here by the bottom so that they're close. They can be kind of close to each other, or maybe kind of in the middle might be better. All right, so we're going to do it like that. And oops. I'm just knocking that little bird all over the place. Poor little guy. Okay. So we're going to put it right there. And the bird, I am going to stamp in Memento ink because we're going to need to do a little bit of coloring of that. Oh, and I forgot to put my stamp set underneath there. Okay, there we go. That's better. Okay. And then we're going to want to practice stamp. So I'm just going to mark the edge of my circle here so that I know where it goes. And I'm not marking on my circle, just outside around it on my grid paper. Okay, so there's my circle. Here's my little bird. Oh, let's see. I wonder if it's going to be too dark compared to my hedgehog. All right, so I think I'm going to stamp my bird in early espresso as well. So I'm just going to wipe it off real quick, because I don't want the bird to stand out too much more than the hedgehog. I want them to be the same. All right, so let's ink that bird up in early espresso. And we'll do one more practice stamp. It's in the same spot, so you won't see much difference, but okay, now all I have to do is line my circle up with those marks I made. Okay. I'm going to ink up my stamp one more time. And then my bird can go right there. Okay. So now when I compare the color of my bird to the color of my little hedgehog, I'm pretty happy. Okay. So next, I want to do a little bit of coloring on these. And let me see if I can zoom in a little bit so you can see what I'm going to do when I color. I'm going to put this little bird back so he doesn't get lost in the meantime. Okay, and then I'm going to use my Stampin' Right markers, but I'm probably going to use them in a way that you may not have seen before. So I want to zoom in a little bit. Let's see. Hold on, I'm going to turn the sound off just for a second while I adjust. Okay, now hopefully you can see that fairly clearly. And what we're going to do is I have an acrylic block right here. I also have what I call a blender pen, what they call a blender pen. These come in packs of 3. And I need Sahara sand, which is this marker right here. Maybe a little bit of crumb cake, which is this marker here. And let's see, I need a pink. No. All right, I need a pink. And I don't have the current pink. So let's try to use a little bit of Melon Mambo. Okay. And let's see. And we need a little dab of yellow. Okay, so here is some crushed curry. And what I'm going to do with this is I'm going to color directly on the spot I stamped. So right here, Stampin' Right markers, if you have ever used them, are very bold. Their colors are very bold and bright. And so that's why I'm going to show you the technique I'm going to show you next. I like to get sometimes just a hint of color, and this is a good way to do that. So we're going to take our Stampin' Right marker, and one end of this is more like a brush, and one end is more like a pen. So we're going to take the brush end, and we're going to color a little bit on our acrylic block. Now, this first color, you are probably not going to be able to see because I can't see it. So, but we're coloring on our block. And then we're going to take our blender pen and we're just going to rub the tip of that in there. Now, inside the blender pens they have a blending medium inside there. So you don't need to add any water or add anything to it like you would a water painter. Okay, and then we're just going to color and see how that's just the palest color. And we're just going to add it in a little bit, and we're not going to get really close to our lines, because if we do, it will it will pick up that color from where we stamped and add it to what we're doing. So there's a little color for our bird. And then let's do just a little bit here on our hedgehog. And now when you're using these, you want to work quickly. Now, let's see. I hope you can see this, but I am going to pick up a little bit here along the edge of my hedgehog. It's just going to pick up that color where I stamped, and we're going to kind of blend it in a little bit. So it kind of reminds me of those paint with water books, okay, where you color over it and all of a sudden you see the color. But that's what we're going to do, just little bits along the edges here so that we kind of blend in those spots we already stamped. Now I'm not scribbling over it. I'm just going over it a little bit because that's all it needs. Okay, and because it's a water-based ink, it'll pull that color right up. Okay, and then all we have to do to clean it off is just scribble a little bit like this. Okay, so next, we're going to add a little bit of this pink and yeah. And we're going to put it in our hedgehog's ear and just give him a little rosy blush. I keep saying him, but it's not really him. Hi, Tammy. I'm glad you found me. Okay, so next, this is, let's see, this is Melon Mambo. And we're just going to add a little bit to our block. Now, like I said, though, these colors are really bright. So you're only going to need a little bit, especially since we're just trying to do a little blush. So we're going to pick up a little bit, kind of smear it around. And even though you can't see it, you're going to know that color is on there. So if you want to practice, just get it off to the side a little bit and you can see exactly how much pink you're getting. So then we want to add it to this ear. And I'm going to do that one more time. I'm going to smear it around, color a little bit on my grid paper first. Okay, and then we're just going to add a little pink to this little cheek right here. Okay, so, and you just want it to be really light. You don't want to, well, maybe if you do want to color right on, you can. But I'm going to show you the difference. Okay, so right here and right here is where we have that Sahara sand. Now, if we were to color directly on our piece of paper, this is what we would get, okay? That's a much different, much darker color than what we have right here or over here. So if we color on that acrylic block first and use our blender pen, we can layer it up nice and slow so that you get exactly the color you want. Thank you, Tammy. I try really hard. Okay, and so next we're going to do some crumb cake. And this one you might be able to see a little bit. It's just a little bit darker, a little more brown than what the Sahara sand is. Now, when these dry, they will dry just a hair lighter than what they are on here. But usually I find that's not quite enough for me. Okay, so we're going to color on there, and then this is what we're going to get for our color. So you can tell that's a little more muted than the other one. So we're just going to color our bird. And we're going to color kind of quick. We don't want to take up much time because our paper won't handle it very well. Okay, so we're going to color our little bird. Going to keep our marker moving. We don't want to stop long for over any one spot, and we don't want to press hard. You want to be really gentle with these blender pens. First, because you want them to last, and second, because you don't want to tear up your paper at all, and they have a tendency to do that. So now that we've colored over it once, we're going to go around the edges and pick up just a little bit of that color from where we stamped, and that's going to blend in. Okay, and so then if you want to add more in those areas, you can do that. Just don't go over it too many times with the same blender pen. Okay, and then I kind of want my feathers here to be brown, more brown. So I have some early espresso. And I really want to put a little red in the bird's belly. And right here, I have a little bit of real red. So I'm going to add those. Now, another thing you can do when you're using markers like this is you can blend the colors. So you can make a whole new color if that's what you want to do. Okay, so we're going to take a little bit of this red, and we're just going to put some right here and blend that right in. Just so we got a little different color right there. And then, sorry guys, that cough is still getting me a little bit. All right, that's better. Okay. And then we're going to pick up some of that early espresso. And we're going to color those wings. Okay, and then we can go back and go around a little bit and add even a little bit more shading. But know that I am not pressing hard on my blender pen at all. I'm being very gentle with it. Okay, so there's our little bird and our hedgehog. And then we want to color our flower. And I can color that directly with my Melon Mambo marker. Because that I want to be nice. Oh, nice and bright. Looks like one end of my marker is not. It's a little dried out. Some of my markers I've had for a really long time. So they're not in the best of shape. But you can now, if you have the refills, I'll show you something else real quick. If you have ink refills, you can refill your markers. So what you're going to do is take a pair of tweezers and your marker, and you can just grab it like this by the tip. And then if you put a drop or two of that refill ink in there, and you can just slide that back in, and you're ready to go. So these Stampin' Right markers can be refilled. However, you want to still be really careful with the end. You don't want to press down too hard because that will
smush your end all up. Don't want a smushed up end. Or that's not real technical, but okay. So there's that. Now we're gonna get back to our stuff here. I want to have a little ground here to ground my my critters, I should say. I'm trying to think if a blender pen is best for that. I don't know for sure. So let's try it and see what happens. Hopefully I can make it work real quick. All right, up here, remember, is where our Sahara sand is. So I'm going to use the side of my blender pen. And then I'm just going to scribble along here and try to make a little ground. So it's not going to be real bright. I'm just trying to give them, maybe I need a little Sahara sand because it's not very bright at all. I'm just trying to give them a little ground to stand on so they don't look like they're floating out in the air. Okay. I'm going to do what I said not to do, and I feel like I'm going over the paper a little too much. It's starting to fall apart. But there's a little bit of ground there, and I think it's just enough that they look like they're standing on something instead of just floating around. Okay, and then the great thing about these blocks is when you're done using all those colors, all you have to do is get out your chamois and just wipe them off, and they come right clean. There's nothing else you have to do, and they're ready to be used again. Okay, so there is that. Here's our little bird. You probably should have put some little sky up there too, but let's not do that right now. Okay, so here is our card. Here's our little piece that's gonna go on the outside, and now we need a band to go around. So let's see. I think since our inside is green, we'll use a green band. So here I've got some mossy meadow. And we are going to cut a 1-inch strip, maybe 1 1/4. Oops. Hold on, I knocked all the little things out of my trimmer. Okay. Oh, I need to zoom back out. I'm sorry, guys. All right, here we go. Okay. So we're going to put this at 1 1/4. And we're going to cut a strip. And then, let's see. The card is 4 1/4 inches wide. So we need 4 1/4, 4 1/4, that's 8 1/2. Let's go 9 1/4 inches. All right, and then this is going to go around our card. So we're just going to lay it down, and we're just going to eyeball it and try to see if we can't get that straight. Okay, so that's going to go around like this. Okay, we're going to glue that together. So I'm going to use a little bit of liquid glue here. And I know everyone uses a different kind of glue. Everyone has a favorite. So if you have a favorite that is not liquid glue, that's okay too. It's just my favorite. It's the glue that I find easiest to use. All right. So there is that. You know what? I'm going to pick this camera up a little bit. So I'm going to turn the sound off just for a second. There, I feel like you can see a little better now. Okay, so here is our band that's going to go around. Here's our circle for the front. And our little hedgehog. And I think what I am going to do is stamp the inside next. So here's the piece that we cut. That's 3.5 by 4 3/4. I really love the little critters. I love the little hedgehogs. And I never got the Happy Forest Friends stamp set. So I can't use that. But they're really cute too. All right, so here is, we are going to put on the inside, finding a friend is the best discovery of all. Okay, and we want that to go right in the middle. Okay, and I'm going to make that early espresso so that it matches the rest of the card. Okay, and remember that little tip about opening your stamp set. So if you're having trouble with it, you can't pull it directly open, push in on this part up here just a little bit while you pull, and that'll help. It should help. Okay, we're going to ink up our stamp. And because it's photopolymer, we're going to practice stamp, but we've already lined it up with the little mark that we made earlier. So we know exactly where it goes. Okay, so we can put it right back here. And we're going to ink up our stamp again. And stamp it down. It's going to be so cute. Okay, so there is for the inside of the card. Let's see, and I think, let's see. All right, that's cleaned off. So it's, with these Stampin' Sunday videos, I think you kind of get an idea what the designing process is like for me. I'm not extremely organized, but I love making cards. So I think what I want to do with this inside piece is I'm going to sponge its edges a little bit with the green So we need some mossy meadow. And we need a little green sponge. So let's see if I have, I don't think I have one yet for a mossy meadow. I have Old Olive. Okay. I just got a new little pack of sponges. Sponges come in a little pack of 5. So let's get it one out for mossy meadow. And what we're going to do is these will fit right on the end of your finger. So then you can just tap them in that ink and then rub them along the edge to give them a little bit of color. And it doesn't have to be perfect. There's no right or wrong way to do it. You're just adding a little bit of color. And sometimes I do this so that my piece of paper will stand out. But sometimes I do it so that it helps it blend in. It just depends on what kind of look you're going for. And it doesn't take very long. It just adds that little bit of something extra. And actually, let's do a little bit on our circle that goes on the front. I'll do some green around the bottom and maybe some blue up at the top. Okay. And we can even brush it across there a little bit. I should have thought of that for the ground, I suppose. Okay. So there is that. And we can glue this down to the inside of our card. So we're going to put a thin line of glue around the edge. Leave a spot for your finger. And then squiggle down the middle. Okay, and then we can just pick that up and place it right in the center where we want it to go. Just like that. Okay, and if you have a different stamp set at home you want to use for this, you could always use anything you have. Okay, and then we'll get the Balmy Blue sponge dauber and our Balmy Blue ink. Okay, and then we'll add some here to the top. Before I knew about these little sponge daubers, they used to have little round sponges, and I would cut them into wedges and use them to add color to my cards. But the only drawback of that was a lot of the time I ended up with ink all over my hands. So it was definitely an obvious sign that I had been crafting. And most of the time that's not a terrible thing, but sometimes if you go out and your hands are all red or they're, you know, some other strange color, people have questions for you. Okay, so here is our band. And we're going to slide that on just like this. And then I'm going to attach my circle to the band. So I am going to use some Stampin' Dimensionals for that. And I have to tell you, I still haven't found my regular size Stampin' Dimensionals. I know I have some somewhere around here and I can't find them anywhere. Now, I haven't looked through everything yet, but I still haven't found them. I may just order some more and wait for them to show up. They will show up probably if I order some more. Okay, so I just want to make sure that I get my, yeah, okay. Dimensionals on the right spot. So there's the card, the front of my card. And then I'm going to put my little hedgehog on. Okay, just like that. Let's see, and I think it needs something else. So let's see. I think maybe a few of these brushed metallic dots. So I'm gonna get my take your pick tool. And I like, these are my favorite ones. I like them all, but those I think are my favorite of the color choices. So let's put one here, one here, and one there. Oh, no, I shouldn't have done that because now, oh, it still can slide over. Okay, I was worried it wouldn't slide over that, but it does. Okay, so here is our card for today. We use the Happy Hedgehog stamp set and the Happy Forest Friends paper, along with a circle from the Layering Circles dies. So we're just going to slide off this little piece and our card opens up just like this. Now you could decorate these inside panels too, or add some extra stamping inside if you wanted to. You could also layer up this front piece. You could put another larger circle behind here, or even a different shape. So this is our card for today. Let's see, let me hold it up so you can see it close. And I hope that you are having a good time stamping, that you got to enjoy a little bit of that sunshine today. It was beautiful here. And hopefully it was where you are too. Happy stamping, friends. I will see you next Sunday.